This right here is like my go-to passage. But anytime I feel doubtful, anytime I feel a little lost, to kind of reset myself and remember the truth, is from this book. This is the book that Rhonda Bryne, the creator of The Secret, talked about, that she read. When you watch The Secret, she talks about a book that changed her life. It was this book. But this passage right here is so powerful to me, and I always read it over and over and over. So let me read it to you today. To do things in a way you want to do them, you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step towards getting rich. To think what you want to think is to think truth, regardless of appearances. Every man has a natural and inherent power to think what he wants to think, but it requires far more effort to do so than it does to think the thoughts which are suggested by appearances. To think according to appearance is easy. To think truth regardless of appearance is laborious and requires the expenditure of more power than any other work man is called upon to perform. There is no labor from which most people shrink as they do from that of sustained and consecutive thought. It is the hardest work in the world. This is especially true when the truth is contrary to appearances. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding form in the mind, which observes it, and this can only be prevented by holding to the thought of truth. To look upon the appearance of disease will produce the form of disease in your own mind, and ultimately in your body, unless you hold to the thought of the truth, which is there is no disease. It is only an appearance, and the reality is health. To look upon the appearance of poverty will produce corresponding forms in your own mind unless you hold to the truth that there's no poverty, there is only abundance. To think health when surrounded by the appearance of disease, to think riches in the midst of the appearance of poverty requires power, but he who requires this power becomes a mastermind. He can conquer fate. He can have what he wants. When we realize this, we lose all doubt and fear, for we know that we can create what we want to create. We can get what we want to have. We can become what we want to be. Most important thing, use your words creatively, not reflectively. What you are living right now is the past. You always live in the past. Your past thoughts and actions created this present moment. What you are saying and thinking now is creating your future. So don't decide what you're going to say and think based on now, because if you do that, then you create more of the same. If you say what you do want now and you think in the way that you do want now, you will create a different future.